Thank you for visiting the Combs Waterkotte website and our Medicare and Medicaid Fraud Defense Lawyer in Missouri website page. Regardless of the crime, we believe everyone is entitled to the best possible legal defense in the state of Missouri. We have created this audio version of our website page to help you better understand our services and protect your future, freedom, and reputation. If you have been charged with Medicare and Medicaid fraud in the state of Missouri, we can help. Don't face the state and court system alone during your Medicare and Medicaid fraud charge. Contact one of our Missouri Medicare and Medicaid fraud defense lawyers today at 314-900-HELP to protect your rights and future. Let's discuss hiring our Medicare and Medicaid fraud defense lawyers in Missouri and setting up a free consultation with our attorneys. Medicare and Medicaid fraud defense lawyers in Missouri. Allegations of Medicare or Medicaid fraud can devastate your reputation, career, and financial future. At Combs Waterkotte, our Missouri Medicare and Medicaid fraud defense attorneys are trusted by professionals, investors, and individuals across Missouri when the stakes are high. If you've been charged with health care fraud in Missouri, we bring deep legal experience, strategic insight, and an aggressive defense to protect what matters most. Medicare and Medicaid fraud lawyer in Missouri. When you're under investigation or facing charges for Medicare or Medicaid fraud in Missouri, your future and your reputation is on the line. These cases often trigger federal scrutiny, involve complex health care regulations, and carry the potential for enormous financial penalties and long-term imprisonment. At Combs Waterkotte, our Missouri Medicare and Medicaid fraud lawyers understand what's at stake, and we know how to fight back. Whether you are a physician, pharmacist, nursing home operator, medical billing specialist, health care provider, or individual, being accused of government health care fraud can threaten your license, livelihood, and freedom. Let us step in and take control of the narrative. If you're facing Medicare or Medicaid charges, you need an experienced attorney on your side. Contact Combs Waterkotte or call 314-900-HELP for a free and confidential consultation. Understanding Medicare and Medicaid fraud in Missouri. Medicare and Medicaid fraud refers to intentionally deceiving the federal government for unlawful gain through the Medicare or Medicaid programs. These fraud allegations are taken seriously by the Department of Justice, DOJ, the Office of Inspector General, OIG, and the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS. Common examples of Medicare and Medicaid fraud include billing for services not rendered, upcoding or inflating billing codes, unbundling services to increase payment, performing unnecessary medical procedures, accepting or giving kickbacks for referrals, falsifying patient records or diagnoses, using stolen provider credentials, overuse of services, overuse of equipment. These offenses can trigger both criminal and civil investigations, including audits, subpoenas, and aggressive enforcement actions. Don't face this alone. Our Missouri Medicare and Medicaid fraud attorneys know how these agencies work and how to challenge their allegations effectively. What are the penalties for Medicare or Medicaid fraud in Missouri? The federal government can prosecute health care fraud under several laws, including the False Claims Act, USC Sections 3729 to 3733, Anti-Kickback Statute, 42 USC Section 1320A-7B, and Health Care Fraud Statute, 18 USC Section 1347. Depending on the scope and intent of the fraud, consequences may include up to 10 years in federal prison per offense, up to 20 years if serious bodily injury occurred, loss of professional licenses or certifications, federal program exclusion or disqualification, damage to your personal and business reputation, civil penalties of $11,000 plus per false claim, treble damages, 3 times the billed amount. A skilled Medicare and Medicaid fraud defense lawyer can help you avoid the worst-case scenario, protect your license, and seek case dismissal, charge reduction, or favorable resolution. Who is targeted in Missouri Medicare and Medicaid fraud investigations? Federal investigators may focus on anyone involved in the billing or provision of medical services. This includes doctors and nurse practitioners, physical therapists and chiropractors, mental health professionals, medical office managers and billing staff, pharmacists and home health agencies, medical equipment companies. Being targeted in an investigation doesn't mean you're guilty, but it does mean you need experienced legal protection immediately. Our Missouri fraud attorneys know how to challenge search warrants, subpoena scope, patient records audits, and financial analyses that could be used against you. How we defend Medicare and Medicaid fraud charges in Missouri. At Combs Waterkotte, our legal defense always starts with a deep dive into the evidence. From there, we customize a defense plan that may include challenging the accuracy of billing or coding audits, arguing lack of intent to defraud, demonstrating compliance efforts and good faith practices, attacking the credibility of government witnesses, negotiating settlements that avoid prosecution, securing dismissals or acquittals at trial. We've successfully represented healthcare professionals in complex fraud cases in Missouri and understand both the medicine and the law behind these accusations. Strategic defenses against Medicare and Medicaid fraud charges in Missouri. Being accused of healthcare fraud in Missouri doesn't mean you're guilty. At Combs Waterkotte, we explore every possible avenue to protect your rights and dismantle the government's case. Some of the most effective legal defenses we use include no criminal intent. Fraud requires a deliberate intent to deceive. If your actions were the result of honest mistakes, clerical errors, or billing confusion, you can't be convicted. Misunderstandings don't equal fraud. Weak or inconclusive evidence. The prosecution must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you knowingly committed fraud. If they lack documentation, testimony, or reliable records, their case falls apart. Established compliance protocols. If your practice or business had strong internal compliance procedures, it can serve as proof that you acted in good faith, not with criminal intent. We use this to your advantage in court or negotiations. Authorization or consent. If you were explicitly given permission to carry out the action in question, like through patient consent or administrative direction, that can serve as a legitimate defense. Why choose Combs Waterkotte for healthcare fraud defense in Missouri? Medicare and Medicaid fraud cases are prosecuted in federal court with sophisticated investigators, forensic accountants, and expert witnesses. You need a law firm that knows how to match that firepower. Our clients appreciate our fierce advocacy, tireless work ethic, and unwavering commitment to their future. When the government brings a case, we bring the defense. Combs Waterkotte has over 50 years of combined trial experience, former prosecutors who know the government's tactics, direct access to defense attorneys, not junior staff, 24/7 availability, and full transparency, a track record of dismissals, acquittals, and reduced charges, strong relationships with forensic and compliance experts. How Combs Waterkotte can help. If you're facing Medicare or Medicaid fraud charges in Missouri, If you're facing Medicare or Medicaid fraud charges, you need more than a general criminal defense attorney whose name you found on a billboard. You need a strategic legal team with deep experience in complex federal cases. At Combs Waterkotte, we've defended medical professionals and individuals throughout Missouri against allegations of healthcare fraud violations. Our attorneys understand both the legal intricacies and the high stakes involved. And we're ready to fight for your freedom, your reputation, and your livelihood. What can happen if you don't hire a Medicare and Medicaid fraud lawyer in Missouri? You could face federal felony charges with life-altering penalties. Without experienced defense, you may unknowingly incriminate yourself during investigations. You risk losing your professional license and ability to work in health care. The government may seek to recover millions in fines, restitution, or treble damages. A conviction could lead to prison time and permanent damage to your reputation. You may miss key opportunities to challenge weak evidence or procedural errors. Prosecutors could exploit your lack of legal strategy to pressure you into a bad plea deal. Without skilled representation, you're far more likely to be convicted or overpenalized. Speak to a Missouri Medicare and Medicaid fraud lawyer today. The stakes are high in any federal investigation, but with the right legal team, you can fight back. Whether you've received a subpoena, been audited, or already face charges, Combs Waterkotte is ready to protect your license, career, and freedom. Call 314-900-HELP now, or contact us online to schedule a confidential consultation with an experienced Medicare and Medicaid fraud lawyer in Missouri. Your defense starts now.